All right. So I've been reading about you as well. And I gotta admit, I was kind of surprised. I was looking, well, what are people saying about him? Who he's connected to? Who you talking with? There's not much on LinkedIn.
Yeah, no.
How come?
Because I've been working directly with clients for the last like 10 or 15 years. So I haven't done much marketing or advertising because you basically start burying yourself when you're doing a one-on-one consulting gig, right? So you can only, like one guy can only take on so many clients before he kills himself. So that's actually why I ended up launching Revenue Growth Mastery. So just to kind of take you back a couple of years,
Sure.
Started my career early 90s in inside sales for a company called Cabletron Systems, doing technology, sales, meetings, all that stuff. Got promoted, moved out to Silicon Valley, was out there for about 5 years, stayed with Cabletron, left, went to Cisco. So you probably have heard of Cisco, the 800-pound gorilla in the networking space. And then after about a year with Cisco, I get an opportunity to become part owner of a Cisco reseller. So we took that company from about 6 million in revenue to 60 million in 18 months. And I put together a really good formula of how to differentiate your value proposition in a commoditized market. You could buy Cisco stuff from anyone, but we really did a good job differentiating ourselves and playing to the business value that the companies, the .coms, the ISPs, the telcos were looking for out of the technology. So we kind of catered to that and really killed it. So then fast forward, come back to 2000, moved back here to the East Coast, started my own reseller because I had figured out a nice model, and we grew that for about 5 years, sold that company. And then I started consulting in 2007. So the intent of consulting, which I did do a lot of marketing back then, I'm sure you didn't look back to 2007 timeframe, but we were trying to get tech companies, resellers, software, SaaS companies, and help them integrate strategy, marketing, and sales to grow revenue like I had done with Planetary Networks. So starts in, that goes great. Immediately I've got 10, 15, 20 clients, and we're trying to it's like spinning plates and hoping none drop, right? And as we're going through that process, when you consult with a company, basically are trying to dissect what's working, what's not working, what are the gaps, where you are, where you want to be, all of that. And the way I would present that back to the client is you look at written recommendations on what's working with your strategy, your marketing, your sales, and then what do you have to work on. So inevitably, you give the CEOs a list of 25 to 50 things, like here's how you fix your marketing and your sales. And here's something I would consider on your go-to-market strategy. So 9 times, maybe 10 times out of 10, they're like, Kevin, this is great. It's exactly why we hired you. It's exactly what we're looking for. Problem is, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know what you're talking about half the time. It sounds good, but can you just do it for us? So that would pull me deeper into the engagement. So here I am working one-on-one with these guys. And then it's like, hey, can you just stop everything else you're doing and just come and do this for us, build it out. So I resisted that for about 5 years, and then finally said, let me put together a system to essentially do this for you on the marketing front. So we called it Lead Launcher. We still jam on that today for about 20 some odd clients. And it's essentially helping to drive inbound traffic, doing blog posting, doing email campaigns, handling their CRM, all that front end stuff we were talking about earlier that, there's other companies out there doing. Then it's like, okay, so we can keep doing that and building that thing out, but I can't get to enough companies. Basically, if I try to over market that, unless I've got 200 employees, we can't scale it to the level we need to accommodate everyone. So when you say, I looked at your LinkedIn, how come I don't see a bunch of It's because, God forbid, we actually got people saying, hey, Kevin, can we work with you? Can we work with you? Because then I have to say no. So then you fast forward to the last 2 years, and I said, you know what? I got to fix this problem. I do want to take all these great nuggets and bring them out to the market. How am I going to do that at scale? So we took everything that we've been doing on a consulting basis, a systematic approach to CRM, to marketing, to sales, created a video training program, put it online into Revenue Growth Mastery. And now you're going to start to see me out there saying, hey guys, here's some things you may want to consider. So if they say, hey, Kevin, can we work with you? Say, absolutely. Check out Revenue Growth Mastery, and you're going to get peek inside of my brain and the benefit of the last 15 years of us doing this for other clients. And you'll see how to fast track and sidestep landmines that you'll likely step on as you try to grow your business. So that's where the emergence of Kevin McCann now happens. You're like, oh, okay, now I get it. The butterfly.
Yeah, but you bring up a great point that a lot of people, in my observation of you or initial observation of you, that was a shortcut, cheap shot It's like, oh, what's he doing? How come nobody's heard of him? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But we forget, and I do the same thing. I hate social. I really do.
Yeah.
Because it's more checking boxes than it is. I would rather pick up the phone and talk to somebody that I know I have something for them. They have something that I can give to somebody else. I love those really deep connections.
Right.
And social actually takes away from that in many cases.
Yeah.
And people ask me, oh, you don't advertise, you don't market, you don't do anything. I don't need to. I got a waiting list. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's perfectly okay. And I love that you're just emerging back from underneath.
Yeah.
Because it's been working, and you have packages like, okay, this should be a package. Good. Now I have more time.
Exactly.
This should be a package. Now I have more time.
Right.
Which allows you to scale. And I think that is one of the biggest problems that people have. And that is why I wanted to interview you, was to talk about those plateaus.
Yeah.
When people hit them and they struggle to grow, it's scary to say, okay, I'm ready. And how do I do it? And you hit it first. So you just said it's that identifying first, what is it that we want to do, and package that. And you were talking about my interview with Ledge. The second part of that is exactly about packaging.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that, how do you know what team you need to be able to scale up?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, like, I've helped a lot of business owners get out of their own way. Like, a lot of them will be like, well, social media is there. And what do? Well, I got to do social media. So here they are on the treadmill doing busy work, social media posts and everything. Hey, here's what I had for breakfast. Here's all this stuff. And to what end? Like, what's the call to action? Like, how does that actually benefit the customer? So I kind of made a commitment early on. If I'm not providing value to the customer, what's the point in just spraying that stuff out there? So other people feel differently, and that's totally cool. I just don't get into that. So now that I have something that actually not only can I provide value and nuggets and guidance and like some really quick wins for them, I can also give them an opportunity to now work with us without me burying myself, but I keep providing value. So I always think about it from an empathetic point of view, where it's the customer first. If I'm reading Kevin's post, what can I take away and do with this?
And I have to say, there is that crossover that I watch people do between LinkedIn and Facebook. So LinkedIn is not Facebook. If you aren't, you just hit it. If you aren't providing value, teaching, advocating, helping people be better at what they do.
Otherwise you're just going to be in this endless cycle of social followers, which means nothing unless you can convert them. It's just it's an ego stat. And I frankly, I don't care about that. Right.
Is it the right people that are saying, that's somebody that I appreciate their knowledge, I trust them, I will continue to work with them or consider working with them, or I'll take their advice.
Right. Yeah, it's a very good point. So like if we take something just as fundamental as that, like one of the first things I would do in an engagement, here's a win for some of your listeners, take a look at your website, right? Take the first top 5 pages of your website, look at your navigation, print out those pages. All right. So when you print them out in front of you and you're looking at them on your desk, take 2 color highlighters, grab one highlighter, say it's yellow, the other highlighter is green. Take everything in yellow, highlight where you're talking about yourself, like about us, our services, what we do, contact. That's all about you, right? And then you get into business consulting, highlight that in yellow. It's not until you see the stuff where it provides the results or the value to your customer that you start highlighting in green. So when you print out every page on your website, your email campaigns, your landing pages, your phone scripts, your voicemail scripts, print all those out and start highlighting away. What you'll tend to see, if you're like 90% of the companies we've worked with over the last 15 years, very heavy on yellow, super light on green. That's the first problem you fix. Like, show up with value to the customer, not pounding your chest. Here's how great I am. I've been in business 25 years. I do this. I run an Ironman. I did, like, who cares? And they may care about that, but only after they understand how you can help them. Right. Then it's just kind of added benefit. Oh my God, and this guy's done an Ironman. That's so cool. Like, is that the right time? But it's because now they know that you can help them.
Right.
So anyhow, so there's like tip number 1. Tip number 2 is when I look at a lot of these websites, how do you capture leads? Again, it's value. 90% of the websites or customers we typically work with have one form on their websites on the contact page. And what does the contact page do? It says something like talk with us. I'm looking at one of them right now. And it's like, talk with us about what? What's the value? So basically what you're telling me is you're putting your sales job on me to read your website and to try to understand truly how you can benefit me. And then I'm going to book a meeting with you. And then I'm going to tell you everything about my business. okay, so you may get some hits there, but it'd be way better if it's like, here's how we can help you. We help your type of person, your title, your size of your company, your vertical industry, the challenges that you're facing in that. And if you set up a call with us, here's what you're going to get. We're going to walk away with this. We're going to unpack this thing. We're going to give you this value. In fact, I'm even going to give you a checklist or a cheat sheet or a resource guide that's going to cover these top 5 challenges. We're seeing 90% of the time when we work with a business like you, now schedule a call. Like, oh my God, I'm in. Versus, I don't know, this is a crapshoot. If I click the book a time with this guy on this website, who knows how this thing's going to go, but chances are good I'm going to waste an hour of my time.
Please don't look at my sites right now. They are in the middle of being redone because of people like you kicking my butt. And yeah, that's exactly, you nailed it. So it has to, and that comes down to people that are their core values. And I'm working with a client right now, and we're blowing up his whole website. And I said, I know you. Yeah. And your website is not you. Yeah. Your website, you have a servant's heart truly all the way through. You are not showing that it is all about your clients, even though that's who you are. Yeah. So let's throw away your website and let's put it back on exactly what you are solving for them, protecting them from, giving them right away. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those are two key things. I love it. That's a big list though, right there. Yeah, I mean that right there. So then, well, who do we need to do that? So find the who that knows the how. The who that knows the how is someone that's good at copywriting. And it's not just copywriting in general. Like, oh, I know someone that writes articles. I'll go have that person. No, not that. It's a sales ad copy. Yeah, ad copy, sales copy that knows how to connect with the emotion of the buyer, and then be as specific with that buyer as you can. Right. Yeah. Well, when you do that too, and you're specific with the buyer, you're immediately saying, this is who our best fit is. Right. Well, in the exercise before all that I talk about, we typically walk through with our customers is a buyer persona exercise. So actually another value for your listeners, if they go to revenuegrowthmastery.com and set up a free 7-day trial, inside on lesson number 9, it's creating a buyer persona. And there's a cheat sheet checklist we go through to do it in kind of the right way. I mean, if you Google buyer persona, you'll see 10 million that either came from HubSpot, which we're a HubSpot partner, and 90 versions of that HubSpot one. The thing that the HubSpot one and all these other ones don't go into, and I love HubSpot, by the way, so love you, HubSpot. But there's this one piece that's missing in all of those. And it's around, like on the buyer persona, typically it's, who is your ideal customer? What vertical industry are they in? Kind of the standard demographic, size of company, title, revenue, growth, trajectory, vertical industry, et cetera. But then you get into the important part, which is the pains that they're experiencing right now, or the challenges that they're experiencing right now, the goals that they want to achieve. And then you continue on down the path of, why do they want to get there? And where do they hang out and congregate, all that stuff, right? But there's a missing piece there on the pain. So if I tell you, Susan, hey, I just broke my leg, and you're a nurse, you're going to go right into, oh, Kevin, here's how you fix it. You, rice, right? Rest, elevate, put ice on it, stay off of it. And we're going to put this splint on it. We're going to, we're walking through the solution right away. Why? Because most of us try to fix things as soon as we see them broken, like, oh, I've seen that before, I can fix it. Right. You stop yourself, right? As soon as someone's broken their leg, resist the urge to try to fix it immediately and say, hold on a second. I see you have a broken leg there. How is that impacting you? How is that impacting your business? Like, what's going on? What can't you do now that you could do previously? Oh, I can't pick up my kids anymore. I can't even drive my car because of my right leg. It's hurting me in the wallet. I can't make any money. Like, understanding that impact before you go and try to fix something. You may jump off the, like as soon as you see a broken leg, you're like, oh, I get a splint, it's $100, and my physical therapy is $22 for 3 sessions, $66, we're all in. But if you understand that the impact of the broken leg to this guy is costing him $10 million a week because he's a football player or he does something like crazy, and then your solution is $166, he's gonna be like, there's no way you're going to solve my $10 million problem with a $166 solution. I don't believe you, even if you totally could, right? So the value of your offer needs to be relevant to the impact that the customer is experiencing with their challenge. Most sales reps totally miss that. Oh, what a fabulous point. Right. And that's not just sales reps, that's CEOs, like tech geeks that are like, hey, I got this great idea, I'm going to start a company. And they're
wrapped around the axle on how cool their thing is or their services or whatever. And they forget to associate, how does that guy across the table value what I'm about to put out there? And the only way you can understand that is to ask that impact question. It looks like you don't have enough leads. I can get you leads. But before I understand that, like, what impact is it having to your business not having a full pipeline, or having a revolving door of salespeople, or wondering every month if you're going to be able to pay your bills or not, right? Like, what's that impact to you personally, emotionally, fiscally, all of that? And then once you understand it, now when I put my solution there, they're going to be like, wow, this is exactly what I need. He understands me. He totally gets it. It's a whole different perspective.
It is. And it ties into sales and discovery calls as well.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is people hear a piece that they can solve and they stop listening.
Yes.
They stop that discovery portion because they've grabbed onto one thing and it's like stuck in their head and it's shouting at them, I got this, I know this thing, I can do this.
Right. Like Horseshack.
Oh my, it is. It's exactly like Horseshack. Rather than just sitting a little bit longer, keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going until they stop talking.
Exactly. Sorry for that banging. We got construction going on over here.
Oh, I didn't know if it was like a dog's tail or something. That's okay.
Yeah, it's like a dragon's tail as far as.
So I think the two tie together.
Yeah.
And when you solve it for one area, taking that same thinking through other divisions, positions, people, team members,
right,
and applying it the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different thinking.
It's a value-based model as opposed to a cost-plus model. Like, well, so a lot of consultants or, business-to-business services I've worked with, they're like, well, like, how do you charge? Well, we do $80 an hour. I'm like, so you get nickeled and dimed. I'm like, they're like, no, $80 an hour is a lot of money. I'm like, yeah, but so what if their problem is a $10 million problem? I throw it out there. You still feel good about charging $80 an hour? Well, that's what I think I'm worth. I'm like, but they think you're worth like $10,000 an hour.
Right.
So you're leaving money on the table and you're making yourself look undervalued just because you weren't relevant to what they perceive the solution to being. So it's almost like I've lost deals because I've undercharged in the past. This is how I learned that lesson, by the way, Yep. So they're like, $5,000, that sounds light. I'm like, I meant 50 grand.
I forgot a zero. Oops.
Yeah, right. Did I say 5? So,
that's per person.
But it's important to pay attention to that. Like, why did I lose that deal? That's a whole other thing. Is like, we'll do lost deal analysis with customers, and as soon as they get the no, like, boom, they're off to the next deal. I like to kind of camp out and like, what went wrong here? You guys just invested a ton of time chasing, connecting, having the meeting, doing the proposal, the back and forth, the negotiation, and then 17 weeks later, you lost the deal. Don't you want to know why? Like, what happened? Well, the competitors want better pricing. Like, really? You think it's just price? Because I've lost deals where I was lower.
Yep.
Right. So it's like looking at that business holistically. And again, that's what we do. And that's what brought us to, like, how do I take all these best practices and have these types of conversations in a video format with checklists, and that's what I threw up in Revenue Growth Mastery. So
people need to go take advantage of revenuegrowthmastery.com.
Thank you.
Because already there's so many goodies that you're giving away, even in the trial period before they sign up and really say yes.
Yeah. And if they love it, stick with it, because there's more coming. And we do online training. We'll do one-on-one. If it's a scenario where they're like, hey, Kevin, this is great stuff. would you work with us in our team in developing, so on and so forth. Absolutely. But we've kind of limited. We're not taking on new clients, consulting clients, unless they sign up for Revenue Growth Mastery, just so we're kind of on the same page when we start working together, because I can help fast track a bunch of stuff. Like, I'll just say, watch lesson, 4, 9, 11, and 14 based on your scenario. And then next week we'll have a conversation and you'll be like, wow, I see things a whole different. It's like me putting those different colored glasses on them and they can see the world the way we see it. And it's almost like having night goggles, looking out in the backyard when at first they're like, everything's dark out here. And then they put the night goggles on. It's like, wow, there's a lion, a tiger, and I better go back inside.
You bring home a really important point that I've noticed. I've been teaching podcasting classes for the Direct Marketing Association of Northern California for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I'm finding my best new clients are the ones who have taken the classes because they completely understand the process and what they do and don't want to do.
Right.
it's come to the point, you're exactly right. I'm making it a requirement. You want to sign up and have me produce your podcast, you must watch my 2 classes first.
Exactly.
Even if you say, I think I can do it on my own,
yeah,
then you can, fine, good for you. But
Mhm.
before we invest this time and go down this path in this package, watch the classes. So when we're talking, you will know exactly the reasoning behind it all.
Exactly. And it's just, I mean, it's like, trust me, I've gone this path 150 times before. If you watch these few videos or whatever, you'll get caught up. I mean, we're not going to be like at head to head, same level, but you'll be caught up from all the 10 dumb questions, 100 dumb questions we've seen asked over the last 15 years. And you'll start to see the world from our perspective, which will then open your mind. So all the great stuff I'm about to put on you, you'll be able to receive and accept and do something with quickly.
Yep. I think it's a great reason for people to take advantage. So many times people say, oh, I'm just going to hire them and do it. So do you not see their packages? Why don't you give it a shot? Try what they're teaching, try what they're giving away, read their stuff first.
Yeah.
Because you will also get more value out of their services and services of people like you and your company.
Right.
If they know what's there and what can be done. It's like, wait a minute. I don't remember we talked about this. Can we talk about buyer persona a little bit more? Can we talk about this? And what a joyful client to work with. I look forward, those clients like, yes, those are the ones I love to get up for. It's like, yes, I'm working for them today.
Well, and I would say that's a closing or a sales technique too, is that I've gone this route, much like I'm sure you have with podcasting so many times, that you could essentially have, this is a sales conversation, like, oh no, I think I'm going to do it myself. Okay, great. Do you mind if I take like 3 minutes to tell you exactly what's going to happen? Because I can see it and I know. So here's how it's going to go. You're going to do this. You're going to try that. You're going to like say, I'm going to go hire a website agency, a marketing agency, right? What are they going to do? They're going to give you a beautiful looking website. What they won't know how to do is write sales copy. And then the thing they're going to miss is this and that. And then how do you hand off the lead to your sales rep? The ball's going to get dropped. It's not going to be fast enough. Then the sales rep's going to pick up the phone and say, this lead's junk. It wasn't qualified. Like, I can literally walk them through every landmine that they're going to step on and say, and you're welcome to do that. I'm just saying, instead of taking that 15-week, 2-year, whatever the timeline is to get from where you are to going through that mess and ending up still scratching your head saying, I don't think I wanted to go this way. I can wipe all that out and I'll guide you through to get to the spot you really want to get to way faster, way more efficiently, and at an optimized level. And usually they're like, okay, I like the way that sounds better.
And I've had that too. It's like, you can do all this and I will teach you how. I will do a class for your team and teach them how to do it. Right. And let's see how that goes.
Yeah, exactly. One thing, and I don't know if you practice this. I practiced it when I built Revenue Growth Mastery, and I always try to do this in my life. It's called minimum effective dose. And I always did it. I just never put a name to it. And reading, Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Body or 4-Hour Chef, 4-Hour Work Week, that guy, Tim Ferriss. So in the 4-Hour, I think it might be Chef. It might be that book. It's really weird. Like you're like, oh, chef. So there's recipes. Like, I guess you could say that there's recipes for everything in life. But one of his things in there is minimum effective dose. And the way he kind of explains it is, when you boil water, what temperature is the water? It's 212 degrees Fahrenheit, right?
Right.
If you take water from 212 degrees and like crank it up to 280, is the water any more boiled? No, boiled is boiled. So if you're like, well, I'm just going to keep pounding away, I'm going to boil the heck out of that, you're wasting all of this energy, right, to get it to a more boiled state. And there is no such thing. But at 212, you hit your goal, your target. Take that extra energy and apply it elsewhere and do the minimum effective dose to get you the result you're looking for. In my experience, a lot of consulting engagements or sales training or marketing engagements with marketing agencies, they like hit a mosquito with a sledgehammer, when really a little ball peen hammer would have been good, because the thing is not that big. You hit it and then use that other energy, budget, time, resources, and apply it elsewhere. But we don't see that a lot in business. So what I did with Revenue Growth Mastery is, I'm going to give you, like, from a marketing standpoint, I peel away all the chaff and we just go quickly, like, what's the core stuff from a buyer persona that matters? Now that I got that, now what do I do with it? Just very core, no fluff, just go right to the most important items, right? The one big thing, then the next thing, et cetera, so that, like, when you get to the point of training salespeople sometimes their head are spinning because they're like, do I use my pink sheet or my blue sheet? Is it the challenger sale? Is it spin? Is it, like whatever, like there's only 5 things any sales rep needs to know on any deal, right? What's the pain? Why is the customer spending money? What's the budget? Have they allocated? Basically, are they willing to spend money to solve their problem? If the answer is no, cool, we're done. If it is valid, then what's the decision-making process? Who's the competition? And then what's the time frame for all 4 of those?
Yep.
That's it. You know all 5 of those things, and you can actually articulate why these guys are looking to spend money. And there's only 3 reasons for that. It's to either increase revenue, decrease expenses, or minimize business risk. Otherwise, they're not spending money.
Correct.
Period. Like they're not spending money because they like the color of it. I mean, in a consumer world, it could be because it makes me feel good. So that would be another reason. But when we're talking B2B, it's typically increase revenue, decrease expenses, minimize risk. Figure out which it is. And if they're committed to it, then they will have allocated budget or they're about to. And your goal is to figure out what's the impact of the pain so that you can start to validate how much is my proposal going to be against what they value, not just, well, it cost me $26 and I want to double the price of that to 52. So that's my sell price. What if they value it at $10,000? You could make another $9,000.
Right.
Right. So that's basically it. So revenue growth mastery, minimum effective dose mentality, where you get just as much as you need to get the result you're looking for.
Have you ever been on a call where somebody's pitching you? And I had this, you reminded me of this recently. And I actually told the person, stop talking. I'm going to buy
it. Exactly. Yes.
I don't want to give you any more of my time. It's done.
It's funny. Yeah, I know. So yes. And actually, I was coaching a client 2 weeks ago, and we were listening to his recorded sales calls. And on one call, he completely missed, like the customer's like, hey, here's my issue. I've got, I'm hiring 10 people. And then the guy, and they're a recruiting company. And the guy's like, awesome. So let me tell you about us. We do this, we do that. I'm like, are you kidding me? He just told you he's recruiting 10 people. Like, stop there. Like, tell me about it. That's awesome. You're growing. What types of people? What, like he just blew right by the opportunity and said, let me tell you about me. So anyhow, so yes, I've seen that happen frequently. And it's just, he was young, but there's obviously a need for this type of training. There
is. It's back to listening skills and being. Some of the best sales professionals I've met have taken improv classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's that great. Ability to take whatever's tossed at them and say, let's go that way.
Right.
And that's what I think a lot of people miss.
Well, the hard part, so yes. So I think having improv is good, but without a framework, it's impossible. So the framework is empathy. And if I know that no matter how the questions come at me or whatever, that my response is always got to be to help serve this person at the highest level, and to have a framework and a structure of how to do that, then you can't get derailed, right? Like the agenda of the meeting is what I just gave you. I called it the sales window of opportunity. So I draw up a window and have like project or pain, budget, decision makers, competition, and then a frame around it on the table with me. So as we're engaging in our conversation, it's not going to follow the same path every time. It may bounce around, but as long as I know that I'm extracting that information so I can actually serve this person at the highest level, then that's my kind of like keep me centered thing. But if you have the framework of serving someone at the highest level, then a curveball or a sales objection or an outright not interested allows you to basically structure your response so that it's not, you're making me wrong or it's me against you. It's, you know what, we're on the same side of the table. And I want to share with you some ways that even though I understand what you're saying, there's some things out there that maybe you're not seeing right now. And I'm only saying that because I've seen it 500 times before. And I want to give that to you. So it's like, yeah, so there's that audible sense of sales, but without kind of a framework of how to handle out of left field questions, sales reps can struggle, but it's easy to teach that if you have the right structure, which I have,
It is. Something as simple though as the diagram you were talking about.
Yeah.
Just a few words, very few words. You don't need a lot of words to trigger it.
Yeah.
Beautiful simplicity. I like what you're teaching.
You got it.
I think we have a great show right here.
Awesome. Let's rock it.
I mean, and I think we can pull some extracts out because you have hit on some wonderful points. You can do it or I can do it, but I'll get a transcript of this.
Yeah.
And if you want, insert the links to, hey, that's lesson 9. Hey, that's this.
Yeah, sure.
you are welcome to do that. And I will make sure that's in the post and we talk about your program.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll shoot you this video. You transcribe it however you want. And then
Okay.
if you want to send that back to me, I
Yeah.
can like hypertext, like go to
Mark
line.
it up. Yeah.
And I can do a screenshot or whatever of here's what you would get.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, kind of dress it up and make it a valuable thing. So a lot of times, like I'll do videos, like we're starting to do more videos now. I'll put them onto the vlog, whatever, and we'll transcribe them and then have a call to action always where I'm giving them away something relevant to whatever we talked about. So it sounds very similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean, just a single sheet checklist type of thing.
Exactly. Yeah,
drawing the window, anything, just to show, just to drive it home with everybody's branding on it. I mean, why not?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I like getting
it's funny. I mean, the interesting thing, I mean, just this week when I got into doing Lead Launcher after consulting for a while, I was kind of pushing back on doing stuff for people. And then it just got down to the point of, let me just create a process to do this that we can replicate. So that's where Lead Launcher came from. We just hit that same stage in our business growth around getting meetings for customers. Because we've seen, so typically we'll bring the football to the 20-yard line for our customers with lead gen, marketing, email campaigns. So like, hey, this guy just clicked on the email you want to call him. But then we're handing it back to their sales reps. And a lot of their sales reps are kind of like, well, I don't want to call and get my own meeting. Can you just get the meeting for me? Like, no, you do it. So
learn how to get the meeting.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's like, you know what? I'll refer all of these outsourced inside sales teams over to you. So like the connect and install, like that was one that we used to use in Silicon Valley. So after using, I don't know, 5, 10 different companies like that, I've seen a lot of them are just absolutely horrible. So taking the best practices of how I would teach their sales reps to do it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to build our own team to essentially do that meeting portion for them, but do it the right way. Like I'm going to build a team and I'm going to, so like part of my give back to the world here, now that I've got all this sales knowledge and whatever, you know, we've been in the trenches forever, is I'm going to make some like kick-ass sales reps, like start them young, get them like so well trained that when they blossom and they end up going elsewhere, they're going to have amazing careers. But we'll do it by helping to teach them how to get meetings for our clients who are dying. Like they're like, we need meetings, we need your help, not just email campaigns. So we're building that out right now. So it's essentially an outsourced inside sale.
That's exciting.
Yeah, managed offering, managed service. So it's kind of funny that, so then I'll take my people and put them through revenue growth mastery. So, cause I've already got the training in place. So now my onboarding of new hires is like a piece of cake. So it's kind of, I've gone a weird way of getting to it, but I'm finally like, all right, I'm getting this done. People have amazing meetings. Get ready.
I think that's a great thing to end with. Oh, that's a wonderful package. I'm excited for you for that next
Thank you.
service package you're going to be able to offer confidently. Yeah. And you've done, like you said, you've used 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah.
And they each have their good pieces.
Yep, exactly.
And so pulling that all together.
Yeah. We're going to pull the best of the best. And again, minimum effective dose, we don't need to sugarcoat stuff that doesn't need to be sugarcoated. At the end of the day, if a customer pays for the service, what are they buying? Meetings. Give me meetings, qualified meetings, and make sure my sales rep is teed up and they're ready because they have the conversation thread. They know exactly what happened. Like if I sent a video to Susan to get her all ready for this meeting, share that same video with me. So I'm in her head when I pick up the phone and say, hey, Susan, and make it feel comfortable for Susan, not like, hi, Susan, this is Bill with XYZ Company. I understand you're interested in our services. Can you tell me more about your business? Like, what kind of a handoff is that? Like, you've had 22 conversations with my inside rep, and now they're like cold calling you. Like, that's what happens. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's just cringeworthy.
Yeah. So we want that to not happen.
All right, let's give them their call to action for you. We want to send them to
revenuegrowthmastery.com. The plan was we're going to sell this for anywhere from like $5,000 to $10,000 for the package. And frankly, some clients, like I hate saying this, but some clients will pay 15, like some clients pay 15 grand a month for the information that's in here, but we're doing it for them. Some have paid up to 30 grand a month. It's like just crazy value that's packed inside of this thing. But what I wanted to do is just drop it down to the floor and make it accessible to anyone, so that whether it's a startup company, million in revenue, 100 million in revenue, whatever, they can still get value out of it. So it's a free 7-day trial. If you love it, stay with it. And it's $30 a month. So it's less than a gym membership.
Yep.
And the value keeps coming. So with 1 month, with the information that's in there, one of our clients who we had never done business with a integrative medicine or integrative healthcare company ever. And he's like, hey, can you help me out? It's a friend of mine. I'm like, I don't know. I sell tech, I sell widgets and stuff like that. Like, let me give it a shot. What are you trying to do? It's the same thing. He's trying to get people to a seminar, get that, figure out, how do I communicate to my target audience? What is my target audience? Make sure that I've got email campaigns going. Do I have the right calls to action? How do I nurture them into the meeting? What do I do in the meeting? How do I convert them as customers after? And how do I keep them happy and then generate a long tail with lifetime value? How do I serve them at the highest level at whatever stage you're at? It's the same game. It doesn't matter. So we went from 0 to a $7 million pipeline with him in 9 months. And his average sale is $3,500. Do the math, how many leads we found for him. So it's like, if you're selling lollipops, this will probably work. So revenuegrowthmastery.com, start your free trial, 7 days. You love it, stay with it, $30 a month. 6 months later, you don't love it anymore, quit. But we're going to just keep pounding value. We're going to have special events. We're going to do online training. It's going to be a blast. So we'd love to have you part of the community.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for all the value you brought today to so many people. And we will share this out in pieces and on the whole, in nuggets and graphics and video, because it's helpful. And I love helping people whenever I can. I always have to remember, oh yeah, and I have to make money too. But I love helping people. And I can feel that from you too, that you get that joy when it clicks and something that you've given to somebody, hey, it worked for them.
Exactly. Yeah. The aha moment, like watching someone get that is like, that's, for me, that's the juice.
It is.
So
it is.
Great.
Thank you so
Great
much.
talking to you, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you.